Good morning. Today is the 6th-month anniversary of when we had lost a precious innocent, Mica Francis. And I'd like to go over what we have found so far in this case seeking justice for Mica. And I feel like it's good to remind why we're fighting so hard for her justice, for what had happened to her and her life, precious life, being cut short. So first let me start off with what made us suspicious in the first place. On April 27th, on her Ring camera, it, exposes Mica in a uniform, her listening to Dr. Cloud, Unnecessary Endings. At the gas station, she fills her tank. She gets an energy drink, sandwich in the front seat, the questionable 911 call, which I'll go over in a second. And then she was found deceased 2 days after her estranged husband, John Paul Miller, is served divorce papers. April 28th, the next day, a very odd announcement is really what sparked all of this from her husband. After 2 services, not 1, 2. He performed 2 services, and after each service had announced this very cold, no grief, didn't want anybody to talk about it, knew the manner of death, shockingly, before even the medical examiner did, and was able to tell everyone about it, distanced himself from the scene, referred to it as self-induced instead of self-inflicted. And most of this was actually found by Jack Fox, the communications expert. Thank you, Jack Fox, for that. Now, the protests began shortly thereafter. Almost immediately. And with that, we have dealt with JP and Trisha wanting to dig up dirt on protesters and content creators. We've had things like Robbie Harvey getting a fake phone call about a girl being trapped in JP's house. Trying to entrap also another content creator, CJ, in that call. We've had Fedora Hat Guy pushing the protesters' sign. We've had water boys assault people with a sprinkler. We've had Destiny Dutton show up and lie about who she is and who she works for. Barricades being brought up or put up. Issues always about signs. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. The violation of the protesters' rights are just off the chain. Threats, cyberbullying, nails and tires. And this is not just the protesters. This is also the ones who seek justice for Mike and have been reporting on it since the beginning and throughout. We've talked about JP painting himself in the corner by constantly pushing this mental illness narrative, which we all know it's not. Multiple exposure of John Paul's twisted sermons and scriptures, which they're still doing in front of the church. Masonic connection to the Millers and Solid Rock. We've had JP's personality analyzed and self-admittance to him having the same personality as Hillary Clinton, Hitler, and Satan. We have where JP was asking donations for the Dare to Care missions, but then Micah's mom sent out a message shortly thereafter asking everyone to please hold off for now. And that was perfect timing on her part. The 427 911 call was sent to an AI expert where he found that there was highly possible conversational AI used. There's also been a breakdown and found multiple anomalies in the death certificate and the scene. Then a 911 call came out, that it was dated May 1st from JP's neighbor. And this had exposed, mentioning S trafficking, totally debunked JP's alibi of being in Charleston on the morning of the 27th. He was seen by multiple neighbors and almost hit some of the neighbors, screeching out of the neighborhood of the morning of April 27th. And the man who did this, he's been interviewed. by Robbie Harvey, and he's months later and still stood on that story. He's also said in that 911 call that there were quite a few very young Asian girls there, that he had seen them there before, and he's even seen JP beating one of them as he did Mica. That call was chock full of information. We also found that there was commonalities with Solid Rock and Scientology. We've been able to debunk the phone call between JP and DJ. Totally fake, totally pushed. JP pushed that narrative in that phone call. We've been able to debunk JP's letter to the church. We've been able to debunk Reginald Miller's letter to the school members. Solid Rock changes their YouTube channel at first using a Mormon symbol in their logo. We've been able to break down and finding many deceptions in the fisherman's story. So did Jack Fox, the communications expert. Then we heard Bear Bluff. Some of us heard Bear Bluff. Some of us stuck to Fair Bluff. But hearing Bear Bluff had led to a very deep examination of the April 27th 911 call for about a month. And that all of a sudden brought out to the, to the entire investigation, if you will, airplane mode being used, or VPN, or VoIP, or burner phones, or voice modification, SIM cloning, GPS spoofing, which was covered by Danielle. Danielle also found Reginald Miller owned 2 VoIPs. This also brought to the attention, and Steph covered this, and me and Steph covered it together, that the July 7th 911 call that was made as a wellness check to JP Miller, or for JP Miller, allegedly by True Crime Re, was the same voice, pretty much, that was on the April 27th 911 call. We also did a deep dive into the Burroughs funeral home, the owners as well, and found an article 2010 of Joan Ashcroft, whose cremation was done way before her autopsy was done, and the family ended up suing them. We've done a deep dive where we found that Bethlehem AME Church, which is pastored by J.G. Randall, who is related to Charles Randall, is only 3 minutes away, right behind the gas station where Mica was last seen. We also found that there was a connection March of 2024 where there was an annual convention where Charles Randall, J.G. Randall, and even Pastor Jumba and Randall's daughter were at together. We also covered Robeson County Sheriff's Department and local government corruptions, arrests, and convictions. We've also covered that Mica had been misdiagnosed, most likely with breast implant illness, having an autoimmune response, that the symptoms that she had duplicated and are mistaken for bipolar. We also found that the jeweler met with Mica the day before her death. This jeweler also has close ties with Reginald Miller, JP, school, and church. Robeson County also showed 2 different phones. It looked like 2 different phones. One was on their PowerPoint presentation that they gave to the media, and another one was just in their, I don't even know where it came from. The media was showing it. Either way, even if it was the same phone, there was 2 different searches that were seen. And one had showed Dick's Pawn Shop. And a lot of people question why would Mica need to even look that up? Why would she not know where Dick's Pawn Shop is? She had been there before. And why would she look up Lumber River State Park if on the 911 call she didn't even know where she was? That's questionable. Then we talked about the ping at 1281 Princess Anne Road, across the street from Tommy Walters, who is the maintenance man at Lumber River State Park, who happens to be friends with Charles McKinnon, who happens to be friends with Johnny Jacobs, who is the fisherman. 1281 also has a creek behind it, which goes right into the area in the slough where Mica was located. Now, Charles McKinnon is also the Charles that the fisherman brings up that he had called at 1:38 in the afternoon that Mica had passed. Solid Rock changes their name on Google to Left It in the Water, then to Praise Jesus. Then we began an online protest where we were going, and it's been going on for over a month, and we have been just tagging and tagging and tagging. The authorities, politicians, the media. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the time. Keeping my eye on the time. And then just recently, and thanks to Danielle, but we had been looking into this together, finding a connection to a couple that was found dead May 31st, the Gobbles. Husband seen May 30th and his truck on May 30th by 2 witnesses at Solid Rock, according to the police incident report. A couple had been in Myrtle Beach before, according to their Facebook pages. This was found in a FOIA that Danielle had received from Myrtle Beach Police Department. And once again, Solid Rock changes their YouTube channel to JP and Mica. Now, we are currently working on connections to a 2013 death of a girl in Myrtle Beach, 2 pastors who died right before Mica in April of 2024, and a man who passed away in 2021 in Louisiana. These are possible connections. When we have something solid with absolute evidence of proof, then it'll be reported on, just like the couple from North Carolina. So it's a sad day. It's a somber day because we had lost a very precious soul for no apparent reason, but obviously for wicked reasons. And we are still going strong. Justice for Mica is still going strong, and it will keep going just as strong as the very first day it started until we get full and absolute justice for Mica. And all the other, this is for the victims who have been through DV and are watching and are protesting and are involved and they want to see justice. This is justice for them too. Just remember that. So anyway, thank you for your time, and until I see you again, God bless.